Brother Ben let me know last night that tonight was my night. You know, I ain't figured this out. You know, a few weeks ago, he told Brother Zach on a Saturday, that the next Wednesday. Then Brother Bradley, he told on a Sunday that it's Wednesday. And then
He's getting salty.
on Tuesday, I get. He said, "You already knew." I said, "No, I don't never. You never know about our pastor." And then Sunday morning, he was preaching, and I just have to take what God gives me when He gives it to me.
Right.
And I had stuff in my notes and stuff, and I've told y'all before, if y'all say pull out my phone, I'm not texting nobody or nothing like that. I got to do it then,
Right.
or it's going. You know, one of the worst things I ever told myself, you don't have to write that down, you'll remember it.
And we use forget.
And I'm like, where did that go to? Then Sunday morning, Brother Ben was preaching, and I thought, my God, he's going to preach my sermon. And in his, try to give him a little credit, I kind of figured, I thought this Wednesday night was supposed to be tonight. I'm like, he's going to preach my sermon that I'm working on for Wednesday, and now I ain't going to have nothing to preach. And he preached all over it and around it and through it, read some of the same scriptures. I'm like, I'm just going to get up here and say, what he said Sunday, we can go home. And
Get up.
But I watched a short video of a minister. It's been several weeks ago, and there again, I remember what he said. And I'm sitting here, got here this afternoon, I'm sitting there, and I was kind of like, gentleman got up testifying that night. He's like, just like my daddy said. Just like my daddy said. And he looked around and he said, my goodness, what did my daddy say? So I'm sitting there trying to remember and I remembered the gist of it, but I said, well, I need to get some details. And I knew I'd saved it. And I looked through all my saved stuff and it wasn't there. And I looked through all my liked stuff and it wasn't there. I'm like, what's even entitled? So I actually remembered some of it. I said, and it goes through about 12 different. I said, there he is right there. Story of a grandfather had a 6-year-old granddaughter, and he was a rug maker. And for her 6th birthday, he gave her his 2 favorite needles to weave rugs with. And automatically, that's what this 6-year-old granddaughter wanted to do. I want to make a rug. And he gathers the materials, and together they start weaving a rug. And they weave and so they started weaving, and she doesn't even know what she's doing, just doing the best she can and copying what she has seen him do in the past. It says when it's finished, everybody's expecting to be a throwaway because half of it was created by a 6-year-old who has no idea how to weave a rug. Unbeknownst to them, when they turn it around, it's a masterpiece. Everybody started saying, she must have the gift that her grandfather has. They can't believe it because they say, can you believe she has the gift? And he said, she didn't get one stitch right. Not the first stitch did she get right. But I anticipated her mistakes.
All right. Come on now.
And I wove them into the rug. He said, even mistakes can make a masterpiece.
Mighty God.
And I titled this tonight, He Prepared for My Mistakes.
Thank you, Jesus. Come on.
I like it right
Yeah.
He, you know, and Brother Ben, and I ain't gonna get to that part that you preached all over my message Sunday morning. I forget now where I was going the other day, and I had my GPS on, and I'm listening to my chapters as I'm driving. And it's in Mark chapter 9. And the guy that, I can't remember, it sounds like James Earl Jones reading, I don't know if it's him or not, but he's got a really cool voice. And he says, then Jesus said unto them.
Right.
And immediately, when he said that, my GPS kicked in, said, in 10 miles, turn left. I can't argue with Jesus. He told me in 10 miles, he already anticipated my mistakes. Because I can get lost in a sack.
Yeah.
I have been lost in parts of Walmart, just trying to find a way out. True story. As Sister Tina will say, it's a true story. I have bought lots of stuff in Walmart just trying to not look like I'm lost just until I finally. But I'm so thankful that my God has already prepared
Yes.
for my mistakes.
Right.
He knew. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Luke, and this is where Brother Ben started reading, and I thought, man, I might as well just hang it up, because he's just going to tear my sermon up. I'm not going to have anything left to preach. And I've read these scriptures as Lum and Abner, you say 1,000 or 100 times. And most of y'all don't have a clue who Lum and Abner is. I'm proving I am the elder in here. It was a radio talk show back when we didn't have TV. So anyway. Yeah, there you go. Brother David remembers. Luke chapter 15, starting 11th verse. And like I said, Brother Ben read all this Sunday morning, but I already had it in my notes, so I'm going to read it again.
Amen.
And he said, a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falleth to me. And he divided unto them his living. And not many days after, the younger son gathered all together and took his journey into a far country, and there wasted his substance with riotous living.
Right.
And when he had spent all, there arose a mighty famine in the land, and he began to be in want. And he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into his fields to feed swine. And he would fain have filled his belly with the husk that the swine did eat, and no man gave unto him. Like I said, I've read these scriptures bunches and bunches of times. And it hit me while I was sitting in the office when I had my earbuds in, just listening. No, nothing going on. You can kind of concentrate on what the word is telling me.
Right.
And when it read across this, I stopped it and I backed it up and I looked at it and I screenshot it. I'm like, okay, this goes along with this whole preparing for my mistakes. He said, we're going to skip down to the 22nd verse. It said, and this is when the son has come back. It said, but the father said to his servants, bring forth the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, shoes on his feet. And I've read this, like I said, a bunch of the time. And I just said, and bring forth a fatted calf.
Right.
It says, and bring forth the fatted calf, and kill it, and let us eat and be merry. Right. His father knew when he left
Right.
that he's coming back, he's going to be hungry.
Right. Huh. That's good.
He prepared for the mistakes his son was going to make. Right. So when my son that was lost, now he's found, he's coming home hungry.
Yes.
I heard a minister, and when I heard the sermon years ago, it didn't dawn on me, but the father was feeding this cat all this time.
Yes.
And it dawned on me when I was listening, I thought, well, that's what the preacher meant the whole time. He had a particular calf that he was fattening up for that son.
That's good. Certain calf.
And he knew, ain't nothing like getting home and a steak being cooked for you.
Yeah.
Medium rare. Maybe some rice and yum sauce be okay too. It don't say that, but I bet there was somewhere close.
Yeah.
But he said, kill the fat, don't just go get something.
That's it.
You get the one I prepared for myself.
Right. Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then you read on down, and he called one of the servants and asked the brother, always got to be a killjoy in every situation. The brother said, and he called one of the servants and asked, what these things meant. And he said to him, thy brother is come, and thy father hath killed the fatted calf. Because he hath received him safe and sound.
Yeah.
The 30th verse says, but as soon as this thy son was come, which hath devoured thy living with harlots, thou hast killed for him the fatted calf. Once again, the father knew all the stuff he was going to do.
Right.
The son had a speech prepared for it. It didn't matter. When he showed up, the father didn't care.
Did not.
I think about whole different scenario, but when I got wind that my son-in-law to be was going to ask my daughter to give her had a ring, but he wasn't going to give her the ring till he talked to me. One Saturday, I was out cleaning up my motorcycle, and Nicole called me, and her and her mama was going to Tupelo, and Brady, and this little fellow, and said, "Randy's going to meet us over. Why don't you come over here and eat with us?" I thought, yep. I was kind of like the son. I had me a speech prepared. And that son, he's like, I got to figure out something to say because I've done all this. My daddy knows, and I've just been terrible. Well, I get my motorcycle cleaned up and shined up real good. I put my leather chaps on. I put my leather vest on. I put my leather do-rag on. Brother Bradley, I was mean. I looked tough. I had me a speech prepared for this young man that's about to ask for my daughter's hand in marriage. As fate would have it, we were in Dick's Sporting Goods. Nicole and Robert had gone off somewhere else, and Brady was wanting to know that we could see him, but he wasn't close enough to hear. And he stopped, and I thought, okay, big boy, I got your number. And he looked at me, he said, well, I prayed about it, and I prayed about it. And I promised the Lord if he'd give me the opportunity to ask you, I want to marry your daughter, and I promise I'll take care of her. What do you say to that? Kind of like I had my speech ready. All I could say was, okay. Kind of like the son, he had that speech all prepared. He said, yeah, I've done this and I've done that. And the dad said, I don't care. We're fixing to kill this fatted calf that I've been feeding the whole time you've been gone.
The fatted calf.
Not just any old fatted
Yes.
calf. I feel like in my heart, when the son left, the dad walked out there and looked it over. He said, that's the one I want kept for my son.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I'm preparing for what he's going to do and what he's going to go through. And when he comes back, I'm going to welcome him. Just like Brother Ben said, he broke all protocol by running to meet his son.
Right, right.
But I've got this fatted calf killed for you. Not just any, one I picked out in particular just for my son. And I wrote that here. Sister Lindsay had shared a video one of the days that I was working on this, and it's about being nice to people. And I'm like, that's what I need to try that, you know. It has nothing to do with this fatted calf thing, but I'm like, this is pretty, okay. So I walk into the Circle K to get my coffee. I don't have coffee yet, and I'm still gonna be nice. And there's somebody sitting there at the ATM getting them some money. How you doing? You having a good day? They just kind of looked at me. I'm like, maybe somebody need to go kill the fatted calf for them, but they was not happy. And I was trying to be nice, and sometimes it's just.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it.
Sometimes it's hard to be nice.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes I need the fatted calf killed for me also. And preparing for my mistakes. And I wrote this down in here too. It's a funny story, and some of y'all heard me talk about it the other day. The Sunday before Bible school, we'd gone to Sam's to pick up a few supplies, and we drove through somewhere in town and got something to eat, and got over there and got stuff. So Robert said, "You want a milkshake?" I said, "No, I want a caramel crunch from Wendy's." We drove to the closest Wendy's. She wanted a cookie dough frosty and a bottle of water. I said, I want a small caramel crunch. We don't have none. A cookie dough frosty and a bottle of water. When they told me we don't have none, told me they didn't have no bottle of water too. I said, well, just forget it. I don't know, you ever have just a craving for something and ain't nothing gonna satisfy?
Right.
I wasn't hungry, but when she said milkshake, my mind goes to caramel crunch. There's another Wendy's about 700 miles away in Tupelo. It felt like it time we finally got there. And I drive through. Brother Zach, I said, I didn't change what I said, I want a bigger one. I said, I want a medium caramel crunch, a small cookie dough frosting, a bottle of water. I pulled around to the window. There says 2 little bitty cups. I said, is that a medium? That's what he rung up. And it wasn't a caramel crunch. And it wasn't a medium. God didn't allow me to prepare for their mistakes.
Yeah.
I left Tupelo. Sister Robert put my spoon in it. She said, I'm not eating it. That ain't what I ordered. That ain't what I want. I got called a big old baby. That made no difference. I was not prepared for the mistakes they were going to make. And I think Sister Lindsay wound up with
I did.
not caramel crunch.
And it was good.
But you know, I'm so glad God is way, way ahead of me.
Yes, that's right.
And we think about Him preparing for my mistakes. And a lot of times, the scripture says, John 2:1 says, these things write unto you that you sin not, and if any man sin, we have an advocate with the Father, Christ Jesus, the righteous.
Yes.
Well, okay, I can mess up, and He's going to take care of it. He prepared for that.
Right.
He prepared, He knew. And I know I preach a lot about messing up, so I'm probably the biggest mess up in the county. But He has prepared a way
Yes, He has.
to take care of my mistakes.
Yes.
I have an advocate with the Father, and that's
Yes,
great.
God.
I mean, and a lot of times
Thank you,
we
Jesus.
stop right there. Well, okay, I'm not so sure that advocate so much when I know I'm going to mess up and do it anyway. You know, He didn't. I don't think that's what He's preparing for.
Right.
All right. Romans 6th chapter. First verse says, what shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound?
All right.
Come on.
That's good.
God forbid.
God
Right.
forbid.
Absolutely.
How shall we that are dead to sin live any longer?
How
therein?
shall we? That's
Right.
good.
Yes.
So thankful that He prepared for my mistakes. I'm so thankful that somewhere down back yonder, Brother Brad, he started feeding fatted calf.
Yes,
for
He
me.
did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you imagine the pasture full of fatted calves?
Woo.
And he's got one for Brother David,
Yes.
Sister Tina,
I
Sister
believe
Lisa,
it.
Brother
Yes.
Bill.
Right.
Yes.
I
Yes.
believe it.
Because he knows
He knows.
I hadn't always been a preacher. I hadn't always been a saint.
Come on, back.
Brother Bradley, when I was a heathen, I was a good heathen.
Yeah.
That's right.
He knew when I was out in the world,
Yes, He did.
what I was going to need when I got back.
Right.
Yes, He did.
Hallelujah.
I'm so thankful that He put the fatted calf up for me.
Yes.
So when I got here hungry, He would feed me.
Yes.
I jokingly said something about, and Sister Lindsay let me know it wasn't just Pentecostals that did that, but people just showed up when you had something cooked. And Jesus told His disciples that, you know what? Y'all didn't show up for these miracles. You could have cared less about these. Y'all showed up because I fed 5,000 with 5 loaves and 2 fishes. Come on.
Right.
So evidently, even before the day of Pentecost, there's some Pentecost back then. Because they just showed up to eat. But I'm so glad.
Yes.
Y'all know I have to have some I have to have some humor in here somewhere, cause if I didn't, I'd go crazy. I'd go crazier. But I'm so glad that one day he picked out my fatted calf.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
We can all